Black heritage in classical music goes back at least 200 years, and it's a source of new inspiration. You can hear it for yourself at 2 performances later this month, thanks to the nonprofit Castle of Our Skins and its creative partners, including the Community Music Center of Boston and the Handel and Haydn Society. And we'd like to welcome from Castle of Our Skins the Artistic and Executive Director, Ashleigh Gordon, and from the Music Center, the Chief of Advancement Officer, Sarah Spinella. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thanks for having us.
I will start with Ashleigh Gordon. There's quite a range here, but talk about the first concert that's coming up April 11th. It's called Legacy, so what's the reason for that?
Sure. A few reasons, one of which is that I very much wanted to acknowledge, as you said, the century's worth of Black excellence, Black artistry in classical music, and have these 3 contemporary composers acknowledging and paying homage to those centuries worth of artistry, as well as their own inspiration for future generations. It's also really important for me to challenge the notion of legacy in classical music, which is one that normally has historically pushed a white, Eurocentric, largely dead male composer, and I wanted to be very intentional about not doing that with this program. Also for me, just the connections, and I wanted to explore a little bit personally my own connections. So Adolphus Hailstork, one of the composers, was born in Rochester, which is where I'm from. George Walker, his father emigrated from Kingston, Jamaica, which is where my family emigrated from. More globally, George Walker's music, this particular string quartet has a lot of French influence, so French composers Debussy and Ravel, and Adolphus's quartet has a lot of Russian influence. So trying to do local and global, and also just the connectivity with music itself.
Sarah, what about the connectivity between the Music Center and Castle of Our Skins? Because you're not just opening a door and letting them use the building for a while.
That's right. So we're very excited to have Castle of Our Skins at the Music Center for the concert this week. Sort of the mission of the CMCB is to provide equitable access to music and arts experiences for people of all ages and all backgrounds. And so part of what we do is provide this concert series, which is a way to have our students and our families have access to all kinds of different concert experiences and music from diverse backgrounds. So this is actually, it just ties in so well with bringing different music to our students that they wouldn't normally have the opportunity to hear.
Actually, you mentioned with the Walker Quartet, he was influenced by some French composers. Fill that in a little bit with some biography. Did he go and study there before he did this?
I don't think so, but I mean, within classical music, certainly Western classical music, there's already that lineage, that history in which you're already writing. So his particular string quartet uses sonata form, which is very, very classical, right, and very European. And there's certainly techniques and tools and prolific names of composers that are just in the air. So there are, from this particular string quartet, almost quotations from Ravel and Debussy string quartets, and with Adolphus Hailstork, very, very Prokofiev and Shostakovich as well. So again, there's this history that is already embedded in European classical music that is already, again, in the air to be influencing.
Now, at the same time, this Walker piece, to me, it sounds very American. This is not a European trying to do jazz. This can only be from this country.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it very much speaks to the uniqueness of one's own voice, and in this case, as you mentioned, George Walker's unique voice, and trying to take a system, or trying to take something that is sort of branded, classical music has a certain stigma to it, and creating something that is incredibly personal.
Okay. Sarah, what about how a performance like this fits into the mission of the Community Music Center? Because maybe you could fill us in a little bit about that.
So, most people know about the center as this place that is providing music lessons, actually. We're 8,000 square feet of practice rooms, and we provide music instruction, as I mentioned before, to students of all ages. But what people don't often know about is that we also provide this free access to very high quality professional concert series. So Ash's group, Castle of Our Skins, is a part of that series, and it's not just for our students, but it's open to the public, which we think is really exciting as well. We're providing these free performances.
And people can go by there and not always notice it because so say where you are exactly.
Yeah, we're kind of in the basement of the Boston Center for the Arts. So luckily we have really great signage out there. If you're ever in the South End, come and check us out. We're right there on Tremont Street. On the Boston Center for the Arts campus. So the address there is 537 Tremont Street. But we also have an entrance all the way on the other street parallel on Warren Ave, 34 Warren Ave. So you can just walk entirely underneath the building and walk through our center. And any day of the week, you'll hear our students practicing and attending lessons, but particularly Saturdays are very exciting for us.
This is BNN News, and we're talking with Ashleigh Gordon from Castle of Our Skins and Sarah Spinella from the Community Music Center of Boston. Ashleigh, coming back to Adolphus Hailstork, Boston Symphony recently played a piece by him at a whole concert. Actually, that was sort of unusual for this orchestra. You went there. What was it like?
It was fantastic. So they did his American Port of Call, which is maybe about a 10 minutes or so, a large symphonic piece. And after every single piece, whether it was a standalone or multi-movement, there were standing ovations. It was phenomenal to see an entire program of Black classical music headed by a Black conductor and Black soloist. The hall being filled, and clearly there is an insatiable hunger for wanting more programming like this, and to do it on such an international stage as Symphony Hall was incredibly impactful. I know Adolphus was very happy and excited. He was in the audience, and my chance to be able to meet him and chat with him a little bit. Very excited to have this opportunity and to have such a great response.
You know, I have to ask you about one thing in your programming, both in this concert, in the later concert in partnership with Handel and Haydn Society, is that when I look at the lives of the composers here, these are not nobodies from nowhere. I mean, these are people who were well known at one time. They work with great creative talents, and I mean, how does it feel that you're sort of rediscovering them for a lot of us here?
Well, it is a challenge for me because it's very cyclical, is what I'm realizing, and that as you were saying, this sense of rediscovery. In their own lifetime, certainly being celebrated and then forgotten and then rediscovered, and then celebrated, forgotten, and then rediscovered. So how many times can you rediscover a composer, as opposed to just making sure that their music is a constant? So with Castle of Our Skins, we're really trying to make sure that these centuries worth of excellence and artistry within classical music is not ever forgotten. It's here, and it's part of the fabric. There's a continuity, and it's a continuous celebration is our goal of trying to do this.
Sarah, of course, you're also in charge of having an experience with the community at this performance, so what's that going to be like?
That's a great question. Well, we want to make sure that everyone knows about it, so we've been inviting everyone in our community to the performance this Thursday at 7 p.m. at the Community Music Center. We also are having an open rehearsal of Castle of Our Skins tomorrow, Tuesday morning at 11:30, and so folks can come and get a little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at how the rehearsal process goes. It's a very fun experience for our students to attend as well.
We should mention, Sarah, if people want some more information about what you're doing at the center, you've got a website they can check out?
That's right. They can go to cmcb.org. That stands for Community Music Center of Boston. And everything about our upcoming programming can be found there. Also about signing up for lessons yourself.
And actually, you're also on the web, social media, right?
Mm-hmm. So you can find us online at castleskins.org, and our handle is Castleskins as well for social media.
Thank you both, Ashleigh Gordon and Sarah Spinella.